My brother's text pinged while I hunched at the wobbly desk in my one-room walk-up, pretending today's sketch was more than a doodle. Light cut through the single window, bleaching canvases my family calls hobby clutter. Sold your amateur paintings for $50 each. You're welcome, Ethan wrote. Found them in Mom's garage. I stared into a cooling mug. Those 5 weren't leftovers. I'd stashed them 3 years ago, early works from my Apex series, signed with my pseudonym V. Rowan. Thanks for telling me, I typed. Back came his bubble. Aren't you mad? I figured you'd freak that I dumped your stuff without asking. Not mad, fascinated. Those amateur pieces were worth about $12 million apiece on today's market. And the buyers? My people tasked to retrieve any stray Rowan. The phone rang. Ethan. Hey, Nora, he said, deploying his rubbery sympathy. Don't be upset. 50 each is decent for beginner work. The estate sale guy said most offered 20. Estate sale? I asked. Dad and I cleared the garage. Boxes of your supplies. Dad needed the cash. Dad needing cash. Sure. Gregory Way, accountant king, evangelist of practicality. Who bought them? I asked. Some dealer from the city, nice guy, left his card. Adrian Cole, of course. Cole and Hart, my gallery. He's shepherded V. Rowan's rise for 4 quiet years. That was thoughtful, I said. After we hung up, I opened the portal to my real life. Redbridge Gallery. Last month's Rowan show sold out in 3 hours. Works listed between 8 and 15 million. A new text. Adrian. Acquired 5 early Apex works at estate sale. Secured in climate control. Discuss authentication, inclusion. Keep the family story intact, I replied. Let's discuss a retrospective. The next afternoon, I drove to the split level, where I'd learned to balance ledgers and swallow feelings. Dad opened the door, overly cheerful. Ethan told me about the garage sale, he said, ushering me to the sofa that once absorbed my art school manifesto. I hope you're not upset. I'm grateful you cleared space, I said. He produced a manila folder, printouts and tabs, customer service openings, admin roles, entry-level bookkeeping. Dreams don't pay rent, Nora. The market is brutal. If you're getting $50 for months of work, the math is obvious. I studied the figures. $32,000 a year, 28 with benefits, 35 to start. My last Rowan canvas went for $14.2 million. I set the papers down. Let me think. On the way home, I didn't turn toward my apartment. I drove to a warehouse in the district. Inside, skylights poured down white. 12-foot canvases leaned like dressed giants. This was where V. Rowan breathed. I called Adrian. About the retrospective, I said, tracing the edge of an unfinished panel. Spotlight without a body. No interviews, no appearances. The work is subject. A phantom show, he said. Absence as critique. It could heighten discourse and prices. The anonymity is armor, I admitted. My family's certainty that I'm failing keeps them from looking. And it's a cage, he countered. Your ideas deserve daylight. We outlined an exhibition that preserved the mask and widened the view. Invisible Vector, 5 years of Apex, selected studies, recovered early work. We'd let the market roar while Nora Way stayed small. 3 weeks later, the announcement detonated across the art world. Opening night, I loitered across from Redbridge in jeans, watching town cars spill collectors into light. I slipped inside as a stranger. People circled 5 modest canvases, the ones Ethan sold. Under crisp placards they read as Proto-Apex, Seeds of a Language. A collector said, $60 million for the set. I almost laughed. $50 had bought Dad bare shelves and me a sharper mask. My phone lit. Ethan, the dealer who bought your pieces wants to meet. Says your style could fetch a few hundred. Proud of you for being realistic. Realistic. Near the back, Adrian hovered. We spoke like strangers. Anonymity rains attention to paint, I said. And armor becomes headline, he murmured. Weeks of coverage swelled the myth. Dad called with more listings. Ethan offered a bridge loan. Kindness, miscalculation. In the warehouse, I faced a new series, Family, Invisibility, The Economics of Doubt, and I knew the next gesture must risk daylight. I'm signing these with my real name, I told Adrian, a breath. Then we stage the reveal on your terms. The museum announced what the press had chased. V. Rowan is Nora Way. Cameras spun. I muted them and drove to Dad's. In the living room of thrifted plaques, they watched me like I'd crossed a border without them. I didn't hide to punish you, I said. Your certainty protected me. You didn't look, and I needed not to be seen. Ethan studied his hands. I sold $60 million for $250. You sold 5 lessons, I said, about attention, about value, about how stories price the same object. We talked until the knot loosened. Months later, they stood in a gallery by my label, my real one, introducing me not as Almost, but as the artist I had always been.